Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to pull away from you without explanation? Why you walk into a room and heads turn, not always out of admiration, but sometimes confusion, even discomfort? Why some people are drawn to you like a magnet, only to suddenly retreat, like they've touched something too real? You're not being dramatic, you're not too much. You're powerful, and it shows. This video is for the people who have always felt like they didn't quite fit in, not because they weren't worthy, but because they carried something others couldn't define. A force, a fire, a frequency that most people simply aren't ready to face. Your aura is louder than your words. It enters before you do, and it speaks a language that only the awakened can understand. See, when your energy is potent, when your soul has done the inner work, when you've turned pain into wisdom, you don't walk through life the same way others do. You walk with a presence that demands honesty. You hold space in a way that makes people confront their own shadows. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your silence speaks volumes. And while some people will admire you, others will misunderstand you. They'll call you intimidating, when really, they're just not used to someone who doesn't chase validation. They'll call you distant, when in truth, you're just protecting your peace. They'll call you too intense, when what they really mean is you make me feel things I've been avoiding. That's the cost of power. Not everyone can hold it. And when it radiates from you effortlessly, when it's in your walk, your words, your wisdom and your worth, you'll begin to notice patterns. People stare, but don't speak. They feel seen in your presence, but avoid eye contact. They gravitate toward you, then pull back just as fast. They question themselves after being around you, not because you judge them, but because your authenticity reminds them of what they've buried. In this video, we're gonna break it down clearly and unapologetically. We're gonna explore the 13 undeniable signs that your aura is too powerful for most people to handle. We're not sugarcoating it, we're not playing small. Because if you've ever been labeled as too much, if you've ever felt alone in a crowded room, or if your energy has caused people to act strange around you, this is your confirmation. Your power is real. Your presence is rare. And it's time you understood exactly why. Let's get into the first 5 signs that your energy is shaking rooms, shifting mindsets, and silently demanding respect, whether people are ready for it or not. Because when your aura is this strong, it's not just a vibe. It's a revolution in motion. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like the atmosphere changed instantly? Not because of what you said or did, but simply because you were there? Have you noticed how people sometimes stare at you, hesitate before speaking, or seem unsure around you for no clear reason? No, you're not imagining it. You're not overthinking it. What they're responding to is your aura, the energy that radiates from your soul. And when that energy is powerful, grounded, and authentic, it doesn't just enter a room, it shifts the entire room. Not everyone can handle that. Not everyone is comfortable around that kind of force, because your presence speaks a language that many people are not yet ready to understand. Let's talk about the first 5 signs that your aura is simply too powerful for most people to handle. Sign 1. You intimidate people without saying a word. You don't need to raise your voice to be noticed. You don't seek attention. But somehow, eyes find you. Conversations pause when you enter. People adjust themselves. It's not your clothing, your posture, or your tone. It's your presence. You carry yourself with quiet strength and certainty. And that can be intimidating to those who are insecure or unsure of themselves. They may label you as too much, but the truth is, they're just not used to someone who doesn't chase approval. Sign 2. You speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable. You have no time for small talk or sugar-coated lies. When something's wrong, you call it out. When someone's being fake, you feel it instantly. And instead of playing along, you speak up. You value truth over comfort. This makes you stand out in a world that often rewards people for staying quiet and blending in. Some will say, you're harsh. Others will say, you're blunt. But deep down they know you're just real. And that kind of honesty makes people confront things they'd rather ignore. Sign 3. You instantly see through people. You can look at someone and know what they're really about. It's not magic, it's intuition. You read energy like most people read facial expressions. People can lie with words but not with their energy, and you pick up on it quickly. That's why people feel exposed around you. They know they can't fake it. They know they can't pretend. And that's exactly why they keep their distance. Because your aura demands truth, and not everyone is ready to be seen that clearly. Sign 4. You attract people, then leave them confused. You're magnetic. People want to be near you, even if they don't fully understand why. But once they get closer, they realize you're not like anyone they've met before. You're calm but intense, gentle but unshakable. You don't follow the usual patterns, you don't crave attention, yet you draw it. And that makes people question everything they thought they understood about confidence and presence. Subject kind of tree goes back to Martha. Your energy doesn't need to feed off others, you thrive in solitude. You enjoy your own company, you don't fear silence, you welcome it. And while others chase relationships and crowds to fill their emptiness, you embrace solitude as a place of power. This unsettles people who depend on others to feel whole. But you've learned that real strength is built alone. And that strength is exactly what makes your aura so rare and so overwhelming to most. If you've ever felt misunderstood, misjudged, or even pushed away for simply being yourself, it's time to stop blaming yourself. Your energy isn't too much, it's just too real for people who are used to fakes, masks, and shallow conversations. When your aura is powerful, it disrupts. It stirs up emotions in others, not because you're trying to, but because truth has a way of making people uncomfortable. And when you carry that truth in your energy, some will respect you, while others will retreat from you. Let's keep going with the signs. These next few will open your eyes even more. Sign 6. You don't chase people. You attract what's aligned. You're not desperate for love, attention, or approval. You've stopped chasing those who don't see your worth because you finally realized you don't need to convince anyone to stay. Your energy speaks for itself. You've built self-respect, you've done the inner work, and that means you're not going to lower your standards just to keep someone around. Some people will call you cold for that, but deep down, they wish they had your strength. Sign 7. You trigger people without intending to. Without even trying, you make others face themselves. Why? Because your confidence exposes their insecurity. Your peace reveals their chaos. Your authenticity makes their pretending obvious. And so they may lash out, they may pull away, they may even try to bring you down. But remember this, their reaction says more about them than it does about you. You're a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see in their reflection. Sign 8. You have natural boundaries that people can feel. You don't need to yell or demand respect. Your energy sets the tone. You walk with purpose. You hold space with intention. And people instinctively know what they can and cannot do around you. You don't entertain drama. You don't tolerate manipulation. And that level of self-control is rare and intimidating to those who are used to crossing lines. Your aura communicates, I know who I am, and I protect that. Sign 9. You make people want to be better. Whether you realize it or not, your energy inspires. Not because you lecture or preach, but because you embody growth, discipline, and resilience. You've been through things that would break most people, and you turned your pain into power. People sense that, they feel that. Your journey challenges them to reflect on their own lives. And while some will feel threatened by that, others will thank you for it, even if they never say it out loud. Here's the truth. Not everyone will like you. Not everyone will understand you. And not everyone will celebrate you. But you were never meant for everyone. You're not here to be average, agreeable, or easily accepted. You're here to shine so brightly that it wakes others up, even if it blinds a few along the way. If these signs are resonating with you, don't shrink to fit in. Keep growing, keep glowing, and trust that your energy is powerful for a reason. A powerful aura is not just about how others see you. It's about how you show up in every moment of your life. It's a result of pain that didn't break you, growth that didn't come easy, and standards you refuse to lower. Your aura is the silent message you send before you even speak. It's your soul's signal, loud, clear, and unfiltered. And while that kind of energy attracts greatness, it also repels weakness, fear, and anything that doesn't align. Let's continue with the next signs that your aura might be too powerful for most people to handle. Sign 10. You make silence feel loud. You don't need to fill every moment with words. You're not afraid of pauses in conversation or of being alone with your thoughts. In fact, your silence often speaks louder than most people's noise. And when you do speak, people listen, not because you demand their attention, but because your words are intentional. You don't talk to be heard, you talk to be understood. And that level of presence can feel overwhelming to those who are used to surface-level chatter. Your stillness exposes their need for distraction. Your calmness challenges their chaos. And that's why some people feel uneasy in your silence, because it forces them to hear their own. Sign 11. You don't need to prove yourself. There was a time when you did, when you wanted people to validate your worth. But not anymore. Now, your value isn't something you argue for. It's something you live. You walk in your truth. And that truth doesn't need applause to exist. You don't compete because you're too focused on your purpose. And that quiet confidence, that unshakable certainty, it makes insecure people uncomfortable because they can't figure out how you became so at peace with yourself without needing their permission. Sign 12. People project their insecurities onto you. It's not your fault. But when someone isn't grounded in who they are, your aura can feel threatening. They may call you arrogant when really you're just self-assured. They may say you're too distant, when in truth, you're just selective. People project their wounds, their fears, and their stories onto others, especially those whose energy they don't understand. But here's the truth. You're not responsible for how others receive your light. You're only responsible for not determining it. Time 13. You're not for everyone, and you're finally okay with that. This is the most powerful sign of all. You no longer try to shrink, adjust, or dilute yourself to make others comfortable. You've embraced the fact that your energy isn't meant to be palatable, it's meant to be transformational. And transformation is never comfortable. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to rise. You were meant to awaken. You were meant to walk into a room and remind people of who they truly are or who they're afraid to become. By now, you're starting to understand your aura isn't just energy, it's identity, it's strength. It's a frequency most people aren't ready to match. When your aura is powerful, it's not because you're trying to be intimidating, it's because you've done the inner work, you've healed, you've evolved. You've walked through storms that didn't destroy you, they shaped you. And that kind of energy can't be faked, imitated, or diluted. Let's go deeper into how your powerful aura affects the world around you and why some people simply can't handle it. You challenge the status quo without even trying. Your presence alone makes people question their habits, their beliefs, and their mindset. Why? Because you're not living on autopilot like most. You don't follow trends, you follow truth. You don't settle for average, you strive for excellence. And that kind of energy is disruptive. It shakes people. It forces them to look at themselves. Some will admire you for it, others will resent you. But either way, you leave an impact. You weren't meant to walk the path everyone else is on. You're carving your own lane. And people who are afraid of first standing out will never understand why you refuse to fit in. You live with intentionality. Most people drift through life, but not you. Your steps are calculated, your words are chosen, your time is protected. You don't give your energy to things that drain you, you give it to what fuels you. You value peace over popularity, growth over comfort, purpose over approval. That makes your aura magnetic and intimidating. Because people can feel when you're clear about who you are and when you refuse to be anything else. You unapologetically authentic. You've stopped editing yourself to be liked. You've stopped shrinking so others can feel big. You've stopped pretending to be someone you're not, just to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. That kind of self-honesty is rare. It's powerful, and it threatens those who are still living behind a mask. Your authenticity exposes their act. And instead of facing their own truth, they'll blame you for being too real, too bold, or too intense. But what they really mean is, you remind me of everything I'm too afraid to be. You're comfortable in your own solitude. This might be one of the most underrated signs of all. When your aura is powerful, you don't need a crowd to feel validated. You don't need noise to feel alive. You find peace in your own presence. And that scares people who can't stand being alone with themselves. They don't understand how you can thrive in solitude, grow in silence, and shine without attention. But that's your superpower. You are self-sourced. You don't rely on external energy to feel full. You are already whole. You didn't wake up one day with a powerful aura. You earned it. You earned it through heartbreaks you had to heal from alone. You earned it through battles no one knew you were fighting. You earned it every time you kept showing up when quitting would have been easier. And now that light within you is undeniable. It's radiant, magnetic, unapologetic. And yes, too much for some to handle, but that's not your problem. This final part is your reminder to protect your energy, honor your growth, and own your power with grace. You don't beg for belonging anymore. There was a time when you wanted to be accepted. You dimmed yourself to fit in. You stayed quiet to keep peace. But now, you've realized that any place that requires you to shrink isn't a place worth staying in. Your aura doesn't ask permission anymore. It simply shows up. And those who resonate with your frequency will recognize you immediately. They won't ask you to tone it down. They'll celebrate your light. You no longer chase spaces. You create them. You walk away without guilt. A powerful aura comes with boundaries. And setting boundaries isn't about being harsh. It's about being honest with what your soul can no longer tolerate. You've learned to walk away from chaos, confusion, and anything that costs your peace. And here's the truth. The more powerful your energy becomes, the more sacred your space must be. You're not rude. You're refined. You're not cold. You're clear. And yes, people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will call your growth selfish. Let them, because you've finally learned the difference between being nice and being noble to your own spirit. You inspire without intending to. You don't try to impress people, you inspire them just by being real. Your resilience shows others what's possible. Your presence gives people permission to believe in themselves. You are living proof that darkness doesn't have to define you, it can refine you. You walk with scars, but you wear them like medals. You speak with wisdom because pain taught you how. And whether you realize it or not, your energy shifts rooms. You don't just exist, you elevate. Your aura is a mirror. To some, your energy will be healing, to others it will be triggering. Why? Because your aura reflects what people are or what they're afraid they'll never become. Some will draw strength from your spirit. Others will distance themselves because they're not ready to face what your energy reveals. Either way, stand tall. Your light isn't meant to make everyone comfortable. It's meant to wake the world up. Final thought. Stay unapologetically you. Don't tone it down. Don't hide. Don't shrink. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to stand out. Your aura is not for the faint of heart. It's for the bold, the healed, the awakened. And if that's too much for some people, let them go. Because the ones who are meant for you will never ask you to be less. They'll rise to meet you at your full power. Let's be honest, having a powerful aura is not always easy. It's a gift, but it can feel like a burden when people misunderstand you, avoid you, or treat you like an outsider. But now you know the truth. You were never meant to blend in. You were built to stand out. You were never too much. You were never too intense. You were never hard to love. What you are is real, and in a world full of filters, performances, and pretenders, real will always be rare. Real will always challenge. Real will always trigger. But hear this, that's not your problem to fix. That's not a flaw to shrink. That's a confirmation of your purpose. Your energy disrupts, it challenges, it shakes the comfort zone of those still hiding from their truth. And that's exactly why you can't afford to dim your light. Because people like you. You weren't sent to blend in with the noise. You were sent to wake people up, to raise the frequency, to model what authenticity really looks like. Yes, it's lonely sometimes. Yes, you'll lose people along the way. But what you gain in exchange is something priceless. Peace, alignment, and power that no one can take from you. Let go of the need to be liked. Let go of the desire to fit into places you've outgrown. You don't need to explain your energy to people who haven't done the inner work. You don't need to shrink for spaces that were never meant to hold your full self. Because here's the truth. People will project their insecurities onto you. They'll feel your strength and call it arrogance. They'll sense your peace and try to stir up chaos. But none of that changes who you are. You are powerful. You are intentional. You are magnetic, not because you try to be, but because you've become. And the ones who are meant for you, they'll feel it. They won't run from it. They won't try to dim it. They'll rise to meet it. So stop apologizing for your presence. Stop questioning your instincts. Stop shrinking to make others feel comfortable. If your aura is too strong for some people, let them go. Their absence is not a loss. It's a sign that your frequency is evolving and you're making space for something greater. Because a powerful aura doesn't ask for permission. It commands respect simply by existing. Leading lights. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be felt by the right ones. Your aura is not too much, it's just enough for those who are ready. So walk boldly, stand tall, and never, never apologize for the power that lives within you. Your light is not a threat, it's a mirror. And only those brave enough to face their own reflection will ever truly see you.